Hello, viewers. It's Sentai Michael from Screen Reviews, bringing you a new podcast of myself called the Super Sentai Review. Like always, I always speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly in case you don't understand me. Also, I try to do my best not to preach too hard during this audio podcast recording as well, not to cause any audio feedback as well. And finally, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will contain sure adult language. Once again, if you're under 18, this audio podcast recording will contain sure adult language. Now, if you're over 18, if you're over 18, if you're over 18, that means you're old enough to watch this podcast. With this and everything else out the way, before I get into the podcast, I'd like to say once again I'm sorry for the late review on the latest episode of Zenkaiger. The episode took long to upload. I mean, the episode, you know how it is for subs, nowadays, especially for Sentai, they do come out late. So basically, the sub of the latest episode of Zenkaiger came out late. So basically, this is the reason why I'm doing this late review on the latest episode of Zenkaiger. So basically, and also, if you're wondering what that noise is, it's in the background. There's just a little construction going on. A few doors, like a few doors down from where I live. So basically, if you're wondering what that buzzing on, there's just a little construction going on. There's a few buildings down from where I live. So anyway, just to let you guys know what the noise in the background is. This is the only time to do this podcast. So anyway, with this everything else away, let's get into the latest episode of Zenkaiger. So basically, the episode starts off like this. So basically, we see. So everything was normal. We see everything was normal, and we see everything is not. We see everything was normal around the city. So basically, so basically, everything was normal around the city. So basically, everybody was enjoying themselves. We see Carter's grandma. At her store, enjoying herself until they heard this ringing sound that was coming from a latest monster by the Chosen Tento Dynasty Empire. This monster called the Bell Monster was making this ringing noise that was driving people crazy. Then Kaido and the others showed up and showed up along with and also Zox, aka Kikai, showed up and it's like, there's this so basically showed up, and started to battle the Bell Monster, and it seems like, chased after the Bell Monster and and got the monster on the run, even though they didn't morph yet, and out of nowhere we see the robot soldier that Professor Aizen claimed he made named Zenkaiger. So basically, that's the name of the robot soldier that Professor Aizen claimed he made. Which I doubt. So basically, helped the Bell Monster and the Rangers morphed up. So basically, Sassin was watching the fight, and he realized that that Zenkaiger looks familiar somewhere. Like he saw Zenkaiger before somewhere. So anyway, the Rangers. So basically, all the Rangers morphed up and started to fight Zenkaiger and the Bell Monster. But Zenkaiger used it. So basically, it seemed like Zenkaiger was too powerful. Got the upper hand against the Rangers, even though while breaking show off his power, and that's when he broke up this weird cannon gun, and Saskin recognized. Saskin also think he recognized that weapon that Zenkaiger also had as well. So basically, this weird weapon that looks kind of like a fighter jet, but looks like a fighter jet. He had a long barrel pop up from the side of the gun, and we see all these different. We have pictures of all the previous Red Rangers up to Kaido. So basically, it had all the Rangers from the first Red Ranger up to Kaido. So basically, he activated this gun, this cannon gun, and summoned four Rangers from different martial arts teams. So basically, summoned four Yellow Rangers from a different martial arts Sentai team. So basically, he summoned the yellow ninja from Kaku Ranger. He summoned the Hurricane Yellow Ranger from Hurricane. He summoned the Yellow Ranger from Nin Ninja, and he summoned the Yellow Samurai Ranger from Zenkaiger, he summoned copies of these Rangers and used them to attack Kaido and the others, and help the Bell Monsters escape. So basically, the others what the hell is up with that Zenkaiger guy, and where he get that, and what's up with that cannon gun that he had. So basically, that can summon any Sentai team that he wants to. So anyway, after they got away, from the, basically showing up the Zenkaiger, Professor Aizen was getting praise from King Borka back at the hideout. So basically, King Borka was happy that that Zenkaiger, who he claimed to created actually got the upper hand against the Rangers. So basically, Professor Aizen was taking all the credit for Zenkaiger. It's sad. It's he's probably better than Stacy, but Colonel Bastion was happy that Zenkaiger showed up Stacy, and Stacy was not happy. As for King Walker's bird, Ging, pet robot bird, Ging was not buying that Zenkaiger was created by Professor Aizen. So basically, Ging figured that he must have got the idea. Somebody must have else made Zenkaiger instead of him. So anyway, basically Sashin was doing some research back at the underground base under Kaido's grandma's shop when the Rangers came back. When Kaido and the others came back, they were very thirsty, and that's when Sashin came from the underground laboratory and told Kaido that that Zenkaiger and the gun called the Zenkai Rio, the Zenkai Rio gun, the Zenkai Rio cannon, or creations that was created by your father and mother. So basically, Professor Aizen has access to Kaido's father's mind, because Professor Aizen still has Kaido's father in stasis, so therefore, Professor Aizen can use his computer to get access. So basically, Professor Aizen must took the blueprint information for Zenkaiger and the Zen Rio cannon and created and manual himself. So basically, that, yes, Special Agent ripped off his father by taking off taking the explanation from his head while he was in stasis, and made Hightiger and the Gen Rio canon. And so basically, now Kaido and the others know that that Hightiger, that Professor Arkin, Professor Arkin stole the blueprints. You must have used the blueprint to create Hightiger and the Gen Rio cannon. But after they got that information, Kaido and Alice could not stop drinking and were still thirsty and could not stop drinking fluids enough. So basically, all through the city, we see a bunch of Kaiwards and humans drinking, fighting over drinking water and water and other electric, other types of beverages, claiming that they're thirsty. Even Zox, aka Two Kaiser, was affected. Turns out, when the Rangers went to go investigate, everybody, what's been going on around here, what's going on in the city. The monster, the Bell Monster, actually said, "I'm the dehydrated Bell Monster." So basically, he said, "My sudden attacks cost people to dry up, to be dehydrated more quicker." So basically, that's the reason why everybody in the city, it's being to drink more fluids and stuff. So basically, after the monster told his friend that if you guys don't drink enough fluids, you guys will dehydrate like prunes, and therefore we the chosen Tento dynasty will take over the city with ease. So basically, Kaido and the others mopped up and chased after the dehydrated Bell Monster and cornered in the warehouse. So basically, everything was going fine until Hightiger showed up and made things a bit more worse. So basically, the Kaiser and others were suffering for dehydration, and that's when Two Kaiser and his sister showed up with a table full of water to help the others get rehydrated quickly. So basically, with the help of Two Kaiser's sister, Fred, and his brothers, Cuddleton and Ricky, the others was able to keep on fighting against the monster and Hightiger. So basically, Kaido was, while the others was fighting the dehydrating Bell Monster, Kaido was fighting against Hightiger. So basically, Kaido was fighting to get the Zen Rio cannon from Hightiger. So basically, even though Hightiger was powerful, Kaido managed to get the cannon for him and managed to use it to use the power to summon different four Rangers from different Ranger teams. That 4 Blue Rangers from Ranger Team Face Officer Science to help the others, take down the hydrated monster, and use the power of the cannon special attack to destroy the dehydrated monster. And basically, the monster got destroyed thanks to Kaido getting the real cannon back, getting the real cannon from Hightiger. So basically, Hightiger was about to try to take the cannon back from Kaido, but all of a sudden his warning lights told him that he was running low on energy, had no choice but to retreat. So basically, as usual, a giant foot figure showed up, absorbed the power of the monster, and became a big, a big hydrated bell monster, and working together, all four of the Megazords working together took down the monster, and basically so basically they would say everybody who was suffering from dehydration were back to normal. Back at Professor Eisen's, laboratory, we see him recharging Zenkaiger and and looking, using his computer to look into Kaiser's father's mind to improve Zenkaiger's, power. And so even though Zenkaiger, Professor Eisen did hear that Zenkaiger lost the Zen wheel cannon. He was just using his computer to look through Kaiser's father's mind to improve Zenkaiger's power, and make sure that his power to make sure that his power will last longer next time when he fights Kaido and the others in Kaiser. So anyway, meanwhile, we see Kaido and the others, except for Zox and his sister and brothers, back at his grandma's shop, celebrating their victory over the bad guys, and also gaining a new weapon in the process. So basically, Kylo's grandma was happy that that Kylo was able to get the cannon weapon from Zenkaiger, and now it's now in their possession now. So basically, the episode ended with Kylo and others telling their victory over the bad guys, and also celebrating their new weapon that they gained as well. And that's how the episode ended. So anyway, that's really a good episode. So basically, we finally got a new weapon for Kaido, and that will help him against Stacy's seizure. Dark Sentai is summoning. How Stacy can summon different rangers with his dark gear. So basically, we finally got a weapon that the Zenkaiger is used against Stacy every time that he summons evil versions of past Sentai rangers and whatnot. So anyway, this was a good episode. So anyway, what do you guys think about this episode? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it just okay? Please let me know what the comments of this podcast. So anyway, like always, Sentai Michael, preview, sign off. 1.